And we are ready to roll. Perfect. Hello everyone, this is episode 5 of Pizza Talks. My name is Kostas Karathanasis and I have with me
Paola Martini.
And sadly this week we have not yet received any updates from student life for this week. If we do before the podcast airs, we will have them listed in the description below. On another note, the Videography Club has taken the initiative to start planning and organize a series of workshops related to film. We are talking with the Cinema Society and the Film Club, and we're trying to find different professors to create some kind of workshops so that we can start looking at things online and doing things online and being more active online with this period. And some of the ideas we had were workshops explaining the stages of filmmaking, pre-production, production, and post-production, discussing famous directors and or analyzing specific filmmakers' styles and their body of work, the analysis of film scene in terms of lighting, camera rig, set design, special effects, crew positions in films, their importance and their purpose, and maybe scheduling interviews and full workshops with people in the industry. Members of our club like Katerina and Nansy that organize the first podcast have people that have worked in the industry from the US and other countries around the world that could maybe help us do these workshops. If it's interesting for any of you and you would like to take part in something like that, tell us in the description below. The podcast will continue going online as long as the lockdown continues in Greece. And with that, roll the intro.
So I gotta tell you, I just finished this show and I loved it. I don't know, have you seen Peaky Blinders?
I have only watched 1 or 2 episodes. I think it's very well filmed. I can't say exactly anything about the story because with 1 or 2 episodes I can't exactly judge how the story works.
Stop it.
Maybe.
Why would you stop it?
I'm focused on some other series right now and some other things I'm doing, and I can't watch too much. I'm not in high school anymore, so I can't be watching 9 series at once. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know about that. No, I finished it before having too much work to do. But okay, I gotta tell you, film-wise, it's very nice. I loved it, and actor-wise, I loved it. I mean, Killian is so good, the main character. He's so good. But I don't know, the plot, it was so good. I mean, it has historical things, but in a subtle way. So, like, things about the World War I and everything, so it's kind of cool. But also it has, like, character development and psychological things and political things, and it's very cool. You should watch it.
So, like, what's the one thing you enjoyed most about it? Like, what made it, like, stand out from other things you've watched lately and you're so excited about it?
I don't know. I think the main character, the one that Killian plays, I really liked the way he acted. So I was really intrigued by it, because he was, with my acting classes now, I see things a bit differently. So I see different things, and I really like his way of acting. So I like that. But everything, I mean, it was a holistic thing. The filming, the plot. I really liked it. By the end, it was a bit much, but I really liked it.
Okay, so in the past we had a conversation that was about what kind of shows you enjoy. And you've told me you enjoy more shows that are based in reality and not so much like fantasy, superheroes, medieval fantasy and this kind of shit. You don't enjoy this kind of shows. You enjoy something that's like purely realistic.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah. I do like realistic things more than fantasy. Like, I do not watch Marvel shows. I have watched 2 maybe because my sister made me see them, but it was not my choice, let's say. Yeah, I don't really like them. I prefer something realistic, something that I know can happen, something that I can relate to or I can learn from, or but okay, I have watched, for example, and I've loved. Have you seen Lucifer?
Yes, I have watched
That
Lucifer.
series?
Like Lucifer, I understand
Okay,
why you
that I
enjoy
loved.
Lucifer because, okay, so, can I explain something that I think you might understand about fantasy
Go
shows and
ahead, go
reality
ahead.
shows? Not reality shows, like focus that are shows that are more focused in
Yeah.
like
No, I
real
got it.
situations. I think what you enjoy more is that you can relate more to the character in a realistic way. Like they don't have some supernatural power that kind of drives you off a little bit. And
No, it distances you.
I think what some shows that are focused in fantasy and don't have so many realistic aspects is that they can keep their the viewer, their audience focused on the film without paying too much attention to character development. So you have the
Yeah.
fantasy side that kind of keeps you hooked. So some shows may focus on that and will not advance so much on story or character. And like that's one thing that might be a bit weird. So what I enjoy myself a lot is well crafted stories. So there
Wait. Like, define well crafted.
well crafted stories. So let's go from the side of shows, okay? And not movies at first. So what many shows have as a problem is they may have like an overarching an arc throughout all the episodes that kind of goes through every episode. And if you watch like episode 3, you might not understand anything about the show because you need all the other information you have. So like a good show for me is a show that someone can watch one episode and they will understand everything. They won't need any other information to enjoy the show. Okay, so you have an overarching story, but the individual story itself, which is the 40-minute story, is good. And it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has a rising action and a falling action, but it also keeps the overarching story. So it's a story within a story. Do you understand what I mean? So that's on the side of shows.
Yeah, like Lucifer, that in every episode there's a different crime scene, but they're all under the same umbrella, let's say.
Yes.
Like they do follow a storyline, but still, even in that, you need to it is a series. But I don't know. I haven't thought of it that way. Like I don't know if that's a good show, or if you haven't seen the previous ones and you don't understand something, that's considered not a good show.
No, I'm not saying you're not understanding something. But if you think about it, a lot of the information you have might be background information for the characters. Like if you go into a movie, do you know everything about the character? They have a background. There's a story happening before and after the movie, right? So their lives continue.
Yeah.
Their lives start from somewhere and they continue somewhere. In a show, in a very similar way, one episode should act like a standalone movie. So you have the overarching arc, but the characters most basic storyline. Every character starts with something going wrong in their everyday life, and they have to solve that issue, and by the end of the story, they should somehow have developed from point A to point B by maybe solving the issue itself or developing as a character. This should happen on its episode.
But that's... No, okay, but they will solve one problem, but it's not like every problem will be solved within one episode.
Yes, true.
That's why it's a series.
It makes sense, but you should have some kind of beginning, rising action, and resolution. Doesn't mean that every problem is resolved, but the one major problem of the episode should be resolved. And then you have your overarching story that's the rest of the life of the character, per se. Do you understand what I mean?
No, I think I do. I don't know, that keeps it interesting, I guess. but I don't feel like it's a key thing for me. Like I don't mind so much. Like I don't like in I feel like this happens in Lucifer, but it's not something that happens in Peaky Blinders, for example. Like I feel like it's not like, and I love both, so I don't feel like it's a key thing for me. I don't know.
Look, because I've watched
But-
Peaky Blinders, and from what I've understood, the episodes I have watched follow that guideline. Say, which is a very basic guideline for stories, and it makes stories good or bad.
Obviously, it has a rising action, a middle, and an end. I mean, it does follow something, but it's not that they have a problem solved in every, like, the main problem solved in every episode and things.
You don't have
like Lucifer has.
you don't
like,
have
Lucifer
to have a main
has it
problem.
in a more obvious way.
Yes.
No, I don't know, but even though I do not like fantasy things, I did like Lucifer. So I don't know. I feel like it's. I've watched. Oh, you know what I've watched, which did have some fantasy things. I saw Arrow. Have you seen it?
Yes, Arrow isn't exactly fantasy, though. Like,
Well, it started getting way too fantasy things around what, 6th season?
yes,
I
you know
stopped it
why?
after
Because it connects.
Like
It connects with
aliens?
shows like Supergirl, Flash, and all these other shows. So,
Flash, yeah,
so
I know.
when this starts delving deep into the superhero timeline, it starts changing a little bit. So, why did you like? Why did
Yeah,
you
it
like
got too
Lucifer?
much.
Lucifer is not a fantasy show. Okay, Lucifer is primarily a detective episode by episode show, and it has an overarching arc of fantasy because Lucifer is the devil.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. That even though it does have some fantasy in it, I still liked it because I think it was not the driving force. You know, it was not based on fantasy like Flash is, like Supergirl is. It was not so much based on it.
Okay, so can I explain something
When-
about it as well? I talked about character development, story, and problem solving, right? So my idea is that a story that has fantastical elements, the fantastical elements should be used as to promote the character development, and move the story. So the fantasy element is just the world that the character lives into. Okay? So each world has different elements. Even a world that is more realistic has some fantasy elements. Like the characters are never real. Even a real life story like the Steve Jobs movie isn't Steve Jobs' life. They have changed things in order to create that rising
Okay,
action
but
and
it's
falling
not
action.
fantasy.
It's a world that's more close to reality. So for me personally, I'm not talking about you.
Yeah, okay.
For me, I don't
No,
mind
no.
any kind of fantastical element as long as it is placed in that world for a reason, and it is there for a specific reason, or it's just part of the world itself and it's not its main element. So as long as a story is good and is a good standalone story, I don't mind its setting. Do you get what I mean?
Okay, wait. What's your opinion on Marvel shows and things like that? Where do you place them?
Okay, so for me, my favorite franchise is the MCU, Marvel movies,
Yes.
okay? And I'm talking about franchise, so a series of movies, right?
No.
Very few of those movies I would put up there as like very great movies, okay? And for very specific reasons. The one amazing thing that I enjoy about Marvel movies is that even if they have 20 to 25 movies up to now, the large majority of them have been good movies. They have been good movies.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're
Actually,
great,
That's objective.
but they have been
though.
good movies and they have developed the characters in interesting ways. Now, Two of my favorite movies from Marvel have been the two last Avengers movies, which are Infinity War and Endgame, and they are for two different reasons, okay? One, Infinity War is a movie that has somehow very intelligently managed to drop in 20 major characters and have them all play a role in one movie that I can describe only as a roller coaster, because it moves so fast through everything that it has a completely different structure. And what have they done, the filmmakers? So they created a movie with 20 superheroes, but who is the actual hero of the story? Who do you think? If you have that issue, you have 20 heroes, who do you put? If you have 20 heroes and a villain, they have one villain and like 20 to 25 heroes, who do you put as the main arc of the story? You need to have a main arc, else the audience will get lost.
The villain?
Exactly. This story is not about the heroes, this story is about the villain. And who manages to move through all the problems, solve them, and win in the end in that story? The villain. Because he managed to do everything that the heroes couldn't do. And in the follow-up movie, what they did is they reversed that. They went back to the original characters of the show, and having them defeated, they managed to create a movie that's a bit slower, but somehow manages to give you a third act that's 1 hour of fighting that somehow keeps going. And you have character development. This is very interesting because for many people like you won't enjoy it, okay? You won't enjoy something like that movie. But I suggest that if you enjoy filmmaking, if you enjoy acting, if you enjoy directing, you go and look at what they have achieved with the problems they had. Because even if you don't enjoy these kind of movies, which personally I enjoy, and they're not for everyone. They're superhero movies. They're not for everyone. It makes sense. But these two specific movies, for a very specific reason, they are the top two in box office right now. Even above everything else. There's a specific reason, and I don't think it's only because these movies are from Marvel. I don't think only because they're Marvel movies they managed to go there. Also, I'm sorry for the dings. I'm silencing my phone. How busy
are you?
I should have done that way earlier. I should have done that way earlier.
Okay, but you know what, though?
Anyway.
I feel like I do not even remember which one it was that I watched. But one of the first ones, something. I don't know. But I was watching it and it got me into it up until the point where they had to battle or they had to use the actual like superpowers and shit. That distanced me. I was like, no, just, I don't know, use your fists, do something. Like that really distanced me because I was like, okay, if I was there, I would obviously not do that because I can't. So yes. It kind of distances me. Like I was watching a series of movies, the Rocky ones. Have you seen them?
Mm-hmm.
They were amazing. No, actually,
I haven't watched the full movies. The very good movies I know, but I haven't watched the full movies myself.
Respect, okay? And I'm not talking as someone who just started MMA, so I'm so into it. But I'm talking as someone that I could relate to it in different levels. You know, as an athlete, as a person, as you know, you relate to it differently, and I did not feel like I was distanced, even though I could obviously not go in a ring and do what he did, just the way that I can use my superpowers, well, the ones I don't have, but it still doesn't distance you. But for some reason, superpowers and things like that really distance me, and they take me out, so I really don't like it. Like even horror movies, right? I don't like horror movies.
Yes.
But I love going to the cinema when it's a fantasy horror movie. because I laughed so hard. Everybody's scared to death. And I watched The Nun. Have you watched The Nun? It's not. It's so funny, I tell you, because people were scared and everything, and I was laughing and I was commenting, and then people around me started laughing because I was commenting, and it was hilarious. But it was still a horror movie, and it was still a fantasy one, which I didn't like. Like, I wouldn't choose to see it, right? So you see...
Do you know which movie I've had that experience with?
Oh, which one?
It was Babadook. I don't know if you've watched it.
I didn't...
It was such... Like, I don't consider it a good movie. It's weirdly crafted, and I enjoyed it only because, like, one of my friends at some point was so annoyed. She generally gets scared, but, like, she was so annoyed that she shouted out in the theater because that master keeps saying Baba Duke, Duke, Duke. Okay.
Okay.
She just screamed out, "Shut the fuck up!" And the whole theater started laughing. The whole theater started laughing around us. But going back to your points and what you said, because I want to explain some things that are very interesting and I think you might enjoy. Mm-hmm. One of the shows I watched lately, which is, I think it's a pretty good series by itself, and you should watch it because it's a horror show, but not exactly.
Okay.
It's The Haunting of Bly Manor. It's The Haunting of Bly Manor, okay?
I have not heard it. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's a classic haunted Martian kind of story, okay? Mm-hmm. And there are horror elements to it. But it essentially is a love story.
Okay.
Okay. And the haunting elements are just used to develop all the characters. So each and every character has a specific background, and you could see the metaphor used in those characters. And every horror element you could maybe probably see as a psychological background of the character. Do you understand what I mean? So the horror elements are used to enhance the drama or the PTSD or the psychological disorders that the characters might have.
Wait, that's interesting because it has character development. It has some realistic elements. It has psychology in it. I mean, exactly. That, yes. Okay.
And going back to Marvel movies, I think you would enjoy one specific movie itself, which I consider, even if it has the superhero element, I would consider mostly character movie with action.
Okay.
And it's Civil War. Okay. Civil War is a very interesting movie that puts all the heroes that are supposed to together against each other for a specific reason. And I think it's very well crafted and you might enjoy it. And if you enjoy that, you can even go back to The Winter Soldier, which is supposedly the previous movie.
Okay.
And it's mostly a political thriller. And it's I think it's the movie that managed to prove that the superhero element is just a setting, and your movie can be a different kind of movie. So it's not a superhero movie primarily. It's a political thriller that uses the superhero elements.
Okay, that does not sound that bad. But I'm gonna check it.
So I would suggest that if you want to watch something from Marvel for your kind of entertainment, you would go with Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Okay.
And the whole list I would suggest for someone to watch from Marvel. Why are these movies important? Okay, all the movies I have suggested that you watch from Marvel are from the same duo directors.
Oh,
the directors that directed. They have different directors. All the movies have different directors. But the 4 movies I suggested to you are the same directors. They started with Winter Soldier, then did Civil War, then did Infinity War, and then Endgame. They are the 4 movies that they created, and they're the specific movies that I suggest you watch. Maybe not the last ones, but the first 2, I think they're gonna be very interesting for you.
Okay, fair.
I really think so, and I think you might enjoy them.
Fair. I don't know. I found like very interesting the fact that in Rocky, he actually like within all this athletic and very hard like thing, he put then a relationship and romance in it, and it was like
Yes.
I found it very interesting like how he connected these two. And I found that even throughout the movies, he keeps that, and it's a main source of power. And it's actually so cool. Like it shows you all the levels of a person. Like you see this tough guy who goes to competitions. He's the best fighter and everything, and he still has like that side. I feel like it's a very holistic movie. Because I don't know. Okay, personally, I tell you about all this about MMA and World War I and things,
Yes.
but I do like the romance and I do like the period pieces. I'm in love with period pieces. Great Gatsby, The Age of Innocence, everything. Okay, I love it. I just love them, and that's what I really like about Peaky Blinders. It's a period piece. Because it's back in the early 1900s.
Supposedly, yeah, it's a period piece.
Like it's after
It's a
World War
completely
One.
crafted story,
No, it's after
but it's a
World War
period
One.
piece.
So that's what I really like. Like I feel like if it was like later, I wouldn't like it that much. So maybe that's one of the main things that you asked me earlier about. But yeah, I really like the period pieces, and I feel like they're not valued enough. Like I feel like not enough people see period pieces. And they are so good. Like sensibility and I don't know, all these things. And they're on Netflix and more people should watch them. I don't know. I feel like they're so much better than people give them credit to be.
Should I now explain something that you might enjoy as well?
Go ahead.
So you told me about the Rocky movies and how they managed to combine so many things together and use like the different states of a character, right? So, Winter Soldier, which is the first movie of the series I told you, is the second movie of Captain America. Okay, and Captain America was established as a hero during World War I or World War II. I don't remember which of the two, and there's this very specific thing about this character. This character is like, this is right and this is wrong. I follow my country and my country is right. Okay. So this is how this character was built. He was built during the wartime. This is evil, this is good, I'm fighting against evil. And what do they do with this character? This character that's like right and wrong, they drop him in a spy political thriller movie. And this character that's like, this is right and this is wrong, has to somehow realize that not everything is black and white.
Okay.
And that's his growth within the movie. That there's a lot more than just black and white in this world.
Yeah.
Right? And in the meantime, there's also a friendship / minor romance story throughout that as well. So you have the character that essentially is super powered, but his superpower is just that he's stronger. Okay, he can't fly, he can't do many things. So he can do inhuman things, but due to his power not being like that extra and out of the ordinary, he's just like a very strong human being. You can drop him in a political thriller and make it work.
Yeah.
So I think I think you should try watching that, and I think you might enjoy it. Of course, there are like big set pieces and big fights and like big drops, or he like fights like a big. There are fights that are more than extra, but if you look into action movies, a lot of the characters do inhuman things nowadays in action movies.
That's true. That's true. And that's why, like, that's actually one of the reasons that I do like period pieces, because they have a stronger character development. I find that back then they developed the characters so much more than they do now. Like they have so much more depth, and they don't have so many characters. Like a movie might have like 3-4 characters that you actually look and follow. You know, it's not that big thing. And yeah, that it's more like closer to human, you know, things, not so much out of, you know, imaginary and even human out of the ordinary. It doesn't even go there, most of them.
So to wrap it up a bit slowly, what are like your favorite movies or shows that you would maybe suggest to someone to watch?
I don't know. I would suggest Peaky Blinders, to be honest, because I like it as a period piece.
What about movies?
Movies. I don't know, because there are movies that I like as a plot, like The Great Gatsby. I love it. It's my favorite book, but I didn't like it that much as a movie. So, you get a bit there. But mainly I would say about period pieces. I don't know. I'm not good with favorites. So I would just say to look into period pieces. You know, and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I have some very specific movies outside of Marvel movies, because for Marvel movies, I count them differently a bit, so I'm not going to talk about Marvel. One very interesting movie that I watched is The Judge with Robert Downey Jr., which is him trying to basically... He's growing as a character, first of all, while he's trying to prove that his dad didn't murder someone.
Okay.
So his dad was a judge, he's a lawyer, and he's trying to prove to a new judge that his dad didn't kill someone with his car. And that's the whole point of the story. And it's the relation, and the growth is what comes through the relationship of him and his father, which is very rocky, and it's a very interesting movie on that. And some more lighthearted movies.
Totally.
Some more lighthearted movies. I really love The Intern.
Yes,
we watched it together.
The
Intern is one of my favorite movies. It's way more lighthearted, but it has amazing characters, amazing character development, amazing cast for me. Going a bit into superhero movies, who would think that I would enjoy a Transformer movies? Transformer movies for me are trash. But you know what? Bumblebee is not a Transformers movie.
That I refuse. I can accept some Marvel, but no.
Listen to me. This is not a Transformer movie. Bumblebee is a character piece. Bumblebee is a movie that's using the Transformer lore and putting it on characters. And it's very interesting. I really loved it, and fun fact, a friend of Nancy's has worked on that movie.
Okay, damn. Damn.
It's a very nice one. It's a very cute movie.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say that about Transformer movies, right?
No.
But that movie, Bumblebee, is a very cute movie.
Sure. Have you seen the movie The Accountant? Ben Affleck.
I think no, I haven't watched it. I know it.
Good.
But I haven't watched it.
You need to watch it. It's so good. It's very good. And generally Ben Affleck and my fab Robin Williams. Come on, Good Will Hunting. You cannot not have seen this movie. It's so good. You need to watch it if you haven't. You have to. So yeah, anyways, I think that wraps it up, right?
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll be delivering new podcasts every week under the circumstances. Maybe we'll be able to meet in person again. But please let us know about any topics that you would like to hear about or any ideas that you have. We're very open to listening to them. So please leave a message on the comments or email us in dc.videographyclub@acg.edu or with the same name, Videography Club, in Instagram and Facebook. So that is it. Thank you guys for watching.
This has been Kostas Karathanasis.
And Paola Martini. Thank you.
It's a wrap.